And honestly, I'm going to say now, this is what I think will happen. Recording this just after preseason week 1, I think it's going to be Dobbins starting, then Harvey, then Bidet, and then Blake Watson. Thought Blake Watson looked really good today. I think McLaughlin, after seeing the way he looked today and not seeing enough of him during training camp and joy practices, he is off this team. I'm calling it now. Welcome back to another episode of the Broncos Avenue podcast. I'm your host, Amir Farrell, co-host Evan Petruk on the right side of your screen. We're going to go over all of our thoughts and takeaways from the Denver Broncos preseason opener. This is Evan's first post-game pod here on the Broncos Avenue podcast. So excited to have Broncos football back. It was good to finally see them play a different team other than themselves in practices during training camp. They had a phenomenal, and I mean phenomenal, joint practice against them on Thursday, and then obviously on Saturday just put the hammer down, beat them 30-9. Obviously, it's very important to note Broncos first team offense is going to get up against backups, and I was telling Evan before the pod, like I was switching between tabs, looking at what everyone was saying on Twitter, and it's just at certain point during that first quarter, I just had to get out of there because this fan base and some of like the people in this Broncos community can just be really overly negative. And I'm going to kind of go more deeper into detail on why I feel like people are kind of overreacting to how the Broncos starting offense performed against their backups and everything. But Evan, overall, how are you feeling after the joint practice and this whole week in the preseason game against the 49ers and how the offense performed?
I just needed to address this. I really hope I don't sound like Patrick Mahomes in this video. I'm going to try not to, but that's the second person that's commented on it. But anyways,
Always be yourself, bro. Come
I
on.
know. But I honestly thought that it was just a lot of the mistakes that were being made, and just kind of no, I wouldn't even say mistakes. The 49ers really took advantage of I wouldn't say flat-footed either. I don't know what I'm trying to say here, but I just think that it's just week 1 preseason, guys. Like, there's no need to overreact. Like, this is when you want your team to be making mistakes. You want your team to get warmed up. That's the whole reason why you have preseason. It's to evaluate talent and your depth, and it's to get everyone used to what's to come in the season. So I think that people overreacting about, a couple contested catch drops and not a blown coverage, but like missed tackles and stuff like that, and players, making plays on top of our defense. I think that overreacting is not something that we should be doing during the preseason weeks. There's still 2 more games to go, so I definitely think that everyone blowing this out of proportion is just crazy. I mean, we won the game 30-9. Like the thing is it doesn't matter that we won the game, win or lose. It doesn't matter. It's not on the record. It's just getting guys. And I thought there was a lot of bright spots in the game that we're going to get to talk to later in the episode. But I definitely think the good outweighs the bad, especially guys that we wanted to see and certain stock ups and stock downs. So I overall think it was a success. Just seeing, the guys that we hadn't seen play before, and just these younger guys actually getting experience, and just the overall team getting used to, contact football, like organized games and stuff like that. Because, obviously joint practices are the closest you can get to a game, but like it's still not a game, right?
Yeah, I felt like the offense obviously they didn't perform the expectations in that first quarter, but like you mentioned, it was getting blown way out of proportion by Broncos Twitter and social media in general. This is the preseason opener. Obviously, they still are warming up and acclimating to things. They performed exceptionally well during the joint practice, but of course, all that's going to be thrown out the water because Bo Nix only had like 29, maybe 19 passing yards, whatever it was, on 4 completions. Like, that's the end of the world. And I can't believe I'm gonna be defending Cortland Sutton against the rest of this fan base for once, and I'm not on the flip side of it. But why are people making such a fucking big deal about that drop? Like, I don't even consider that like really a drop, honestly. Like, yeah, the ball kind of went through his hands, but that is a tough. If you've ever played receiver, that is a tough ass fucking catch
He's
to
turned his
make.
body around running full speed with a guy in his face. Like,
It
I mean,
wasn't.
he's not Superman.
It was a good pass by Nix, but it could have been placed better. I think we can all agree. It could have been
If we're
placed better.
nitpicking, I mean, it's week one preseason, like overreacting over a contested catch that didn't go our way. That was
Yeah.
going to make such a huge difference in this preseason game that was 30-9. Like, I
Yeah,
don't know.
I've always said it and I'll stick by it. I don't think Sutton is a true wide receiver one, like dominant wide receiver one, like we see with most of the wide receiver ones, like Jamar Chase, Tyreek Hill, Justin Jefferson, all those guys down the list. But I mean, to sit there and go and say you paid him $92 million to drop his first target in the preseason or whatever, like, give me a break, man. Like, once again, I have to reiterate that was a very difficult adjustment to make on that play. I mean, I he's gonna bounce back, dude. It's Cortland Sutton, man. Like, he's a
Yeah,
Pro Bowler for a
exactly.
reason.
Mhm.
Um, Overall, any other thoughts you had from the offense before we dive into the starting defense? Because that was
Uh,
another area where constantly people were just complaining
I mean,
about.
if you want me to like go at players I liked on the starting offense, I really liked what RJ Harvey was bringing to the table. We didn't
Mm,
really see much of J.K. Dobbins, but I really liked it. It was, and I know that Jaleel McLaughlin didn't play terrible, but like just looking at the runs of Jaleel McLaughlin, he get tackled, he make contact because he wasn't seeing the holes. Obviously, I'm not saying RJ Harvey didn't get tackled at the line of scrimmage or behind the line of scrimmage, but just like the way that RJ Harvey runs in zone scheme and the patience that he has and the ability to see the gaps. And even on the runs where he was getting tackled for loss, it was blown up plays by the defensive line. It was not on him not being able to read it a hole. So I was really excited to see that. I was really watching to see, J.K. Dobbins and R.J. Harvey. Obviously, J.K. Dobbins didn't get much playing time, but seeing R.J. Harvey, actually have the vision to hit the holes good. And I thought he played really well. And pretty much from the starting offense, we didn't really see much else. Evan Ingram didn't really do anything. So,
yeah.
but again, they played what, like 3 drives. I it's really hard to say, but I'll say from the starting offense, RJ Harvey was definitely as advertised, is what I wrote down.
Yeah. I'm interested to see. I mean, I'll just mention him now. Trent Sherfield had a hell of a game, 3 catches, 73 yards, and a touchdown. I'm interested to see if they actually will slot him into the starting offense. They probably will, honestly, given the
He
contract. I
had
mean,
he had 2 other big catches on one of them was on third down, a big like 15-yard gainer across the middle of the field that got called back due to a penalty. But yeah, no, Trent Sherfield balled out. I wasn't The reason why I didn't bring him up is because I thought we were just talking about the starting offense, but I thought he was like by far the biggest stock up on the team. Like he was unreal. That catch that he made was unbelievable. So really excited to see what he's going to bring to the table.
yeah, it's probably going to be him, Mims, and because Mims just got listed as the number 2 on the depth chart. It's probably going to be him, Mims, and Sutton to start the year, right? And then probably they'll have either Vele or Franklin go in and out for like wide receiver 3. So
Yeah, I don't know. I'm sure that they're going to work it. I think the only guy that's constantly going to be on the field is going to be Cortland Sutton for the wide
yeah,
receiver position. And they're just going to rotate everyone else due to, different scenarios and different play calls and stuff like that. But I think Cortland Sutton's a guaranteed to play almost every snap at wide receiver.
yeah. I'm just curious to see if he's gonna get Trent Sherfield's gonna get like more playing time than like Vele Franklin. He
He
probably
looked
will.
fast, man. He
Dude,
looked
he
so
looks.
fast.
I was watching. I think it was like not even that touchdown that he had, which by the way, just unbelievable, unreal
Hmm.
catch. Shout out to Trent Sherfield. There was another play he made. I can't remember exactly what it was, but just the way like he was carrying himself and the way he was moving on that play, not only obviously he's a veteran receiver and he looked like that, but he looks like he could be a wide receiver one on like a different team, like
Yeah,
legitimately.
he looked
He's
solid,
he's
man.
not moving like he's just signed a 2 year $9 million deal. He's moving like
Mhm.
he wants like wide receiver one, wide receiver two money, which
Yeah.
I mean he definitely was like the most surprising, not necessarily surprising to me today, but the most impressive is the
Hmm.
word I would use. All right, this starting defense once again, man, just Broncos country lost their absolute minds over the way they started the first drive, obviously giving up the touchdown. Once again, I gotta say we're just completely overreacting. I understand it's their backups and Mac Jones, but I mean they got a turnover. What was it? The next drive with Jaquan McMillan, maybe the next drive. I mean, dude, they're we're gonna sit here and complain after we just glaze them the entire offseason saying that they're their best defense. They were saying on the broadcast they have the potential to be the best Broncos defense in franchise history. They're coming off the season in the most pressures and sacks in the NFL. I mean, and we're gonna sit here and lose our minds over a couple drives, which they only gave up one touchdown. I mean, once again, give me a break, man. I didn't really see anything that really concerned me by any means.
Not at all. There was a big 30-yard catch where the receiver made it. I can't remember exactly what the receiver's name was. I'm pretty sure he was a rookie or a free agent they just brought in, but he made a good play. It was Jaquan McMillan. I thought was pretty solid coverage. I thought he didn't have a bad day at all. And the guy just made a play, and then there was a couple of penalty. Like I think there's a penalty on that drive on a PBU they called PI, and then a couple of good runs and they're scoring. Like I didn't see anything alarming. I know Riley Moss had one on the first play. He missed a tackle.
Yeah,
But I'm not.
Fungo as well.
Yeah, it's like guys are missing tackles in week 1 of the preseason, like the first full time. And I'm not saying these guys aren't. I'm not saying these guys aren't trying, but these guys are trying to stay healthy. They're not going full on torpedoing into some guy's knees, right? Like
unless you're Jade Barron.
Yeah, which he was laying laying the wood. He played good. I thought he played great. I didn't really see him in man coverage too much. I think he was in zone coverage most of the time, but I thought that he was really smart on reading the quarterback's eyes and making tackles, man. I mean, that's one of the key things you need from your nickel to be able to make big tackles in situations like that, especially in like a softer zone coverage. So I thought that for the role that he was playing, he played great. He didn't disappoint. He looked really smart, and yeah, he was laying the wood.
Yeah, Jaquan McMillan, that was a really impressive interception. When I first saw it live, I was like, oh, I thought that ball for sure hit the ground.
Yeah.
And then it gets up and starts running. And we saw the replay. It was just a hell of a snag. I think I seen someone on Twitter recently say that he might get cut. They think he's going to get cut after preseason. Oh, brother. I mean, the guy was not that bad last year. Like he wasn't. He actually was on pace to make a fucking Pro Bowl at one point. Like. I understand he's going to lose his starting job at some point to Jade Barron, but Barron, let's be honest, he was getting torched a little bit during that joint practice. He's probably not going to start week 1, so you better get used to Jaquan McMillan starting. I mean, he started today, so it's clearly.
I don't understand even if Jade Barron does get the starting job, there's packages where you run 2 nickel corners.
True.
It's called dime. You can run a safety in there, but why would you when you have 2 guys that play the same position at a solid level? So I think that talking about cutting Jaquan McMillan is just insane. I think that it's such a valuable asset. Like you're gonna cut him, and he's not gonna clear waivers, and he's gonna get picked up by a contender, and the Broncos are gonna play him in the playoffs, and he's just gonna get like 2 interceptions. Like I don't understand where some people are like looking at this. Like we got so much value in this guy being undrafted, and like he's just a baller, man. Like why would you just cut him just because he let up a reception? Like guys are gonna do that. PS2 lets up receptions, right? I mean, not really, but I thought that I know this is going to sound like a little glazed, but just like on that interception, because you were saying, it looked like the ball was going to hit the ground, but like the way that he turned his body to not let the ball hit the ground, that takes some athleticism, dude. Like he twisted, like his feet are off the ground and he's spinning. Like I couldn't believe that. That was an incredible interception.
He did the same shit in the Browns game. He got right back up.
Oh man, yeah, and he hit his head so hard on the ground, bro. I remember that. I had a concussion from a situation just like that where my foot slipped out from under me, and I hit my head so hard on the ground after making a catch, and I don't even remember it, to be honest with you. Like a 10-second period, and my brain just went away. It was crazy, man. So.
Yeah, he's a competitor, man.
Oh man,
he's the first Bronco I've ever met in person too, which is, I mean, I'm always gonna root for him no matter what. If anything, with that whole talk of getting rid of him, if anything, and I don't want to get rid of him, but if anything, you could get 6th or 7th for him. So I just don't understand. Like you said, really good value being an former undrafted free agent signing. He's gonna be arguably the best backup nickel in the league. I mean, it would make no sense to get rid of him.
What could you get for him?
Moving on. I'm gonna pretend I didn't hear that shit. Nick Benito, you need to pay this man
Oh my
immediately. I
god,
mean, he
man.
is even. People are talking about that second drive, bro. The first drive, he was the very first fucking play. He's at Mac Jones's face in like point 0.2 seconds. The guy
Hmm.
is unreal. I wish
Yeah.
we would have paid him before Zach Allen. If I'm being honest, like he's one of those like up and coming. I say it all the time, but like face of the league players. He looks noticeably better from last year, and that's saying something when he literally was like top 5 in the NFL in sacks, 13 and a half sacks. I mean, those first two drives are like seriously gave me like Von Miller vibes, like no
Yeah.
bullshit.
Oh,
His
like his
bend,
explosiveness and his bend. Yeah, I was gonna
yeah,
say his bend. Like it was like Von Miller esque. Like obviously he didn't have like the whole pass rush bag, but just like his burst off the line of script. Like how are you supposed to block that as like a 300-pound left tackle? Like
he's
it's
crazy.
impossible. Like that. Like you can't be that big and block that. Like that's just it's insane how fast he gets off the line. And that second drive was just pure domination, man. I saw that he was holding his ankle or something like, or had a little bit of a limp, but
Yeah.
he played a couple more snaps and then the starters got taken off. So I wouldn't think too much of it. He probably just tweaked it a little bit and
Yeah, he was
a little bit
saying,
of
and
ice.
they interviewed him after the game, and they were talking about that, and he said that the trainers tried holding him out, and he was like, "No, I practiced all week for this. I want to go out there and play for my guys." So that was just really
Mhm.
cool to see. He's nothing but like what he epitomizes what a Denver Bronco and like that
Mhm.
attitude is supposed to be. He is like one of the top 3 most important players in terms of building our culture right now. He's incredibly relatable in the locker room. Everyone likes him. He's constantly like you see him on social media always talking about like the Broncos like defending his teammates. He's Nick Benito needs to be paid the max like as soon as possible
Yeah.
before it's too late, especially with the whole Micah Parsons stuff going on. I'm confident George Payton will get ahead of that. So
Yeah.
um
I agree.
Justin Sternad as well. When we're talking about the starting defense, obviously Dre Greenlaw and Alex Singleton were both inactive with their limited injuries. He had a 3 to 4 yard tackle for loss on like one of the first plays. It was great to see him make that. Obviously, had multiple tackles in the first drive. The broadcast was raving about how he was all over the field. That was incredible to see. He's another player just like Jaquan McMillan who just gets hate for absolutely no reason, in my opinion. I mean, he can be spotty in coverage here and there, but guys, he's not supposed to be freaking Jack Campbell on the Lions type coverage, starter, first round prospect, 5-star type coverage. I mean, he was a 5th round pick for a reason. And I feel like he's came along very well, one of the best special teams players on this roster, and I think he absolutely deserves to be like linebacker 3, linebacker 4 at worst.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I thought he had a good game. Um, and just like he said, talking about the hate, you're hating on a 5th round pick, man. A guy who's exceeded his value 10 times. Look at what the situation he stepped into last year. Not saying that it was a tough situation to stand into, but like taking over a starting linebacker role with I thought Cody Barton played good, but like Cody Barton was not good at all before he came to Denver. And so it's just you're playing with a guy who's not been very good in the NFL and becoming a starter, 3 weeks into the season when you had no idea that you were going to become a starter when you went from just a special teams player. And I thought he played well last year. And it's, yeah, like you said, it's not like we have Fred Warner on the team, right? Like it's not like Justice Renard's going to be Fred Warner. I mean, that guy's like a generational talent. And obviously, he was a 3rd round pick, but still, like he doesn't have that pass coverage ability. But I mean, like look at the tackle for the loss. Like you said, he reads the run really well and he makes his tackles. And he's not the worst linebacker I've ever seen in pass coverage. So again, another guy that I don't understand the hate either.
Yeah, you're not gonna. He's one of those players that you're not gonna go and ask to guard a tight end every play. That's why you drafted Jade Barron. So
Mm-hmm.
Tyler Bidet. Let's go ahead and jump into these backups. Tyler Bidet looked like Denver's best running back today. To me, obviously he was playing backups. He was playing third stringers as opposed to Harvey and Dobbins playing second stringers. But I mean, this guy was like what a 5th string running back just a few years ago. He looked incredible today. His change of direction looks so much like less predictable from like Jaleel McLaughlin and Audric Estime. It's not even funny. I am pounding the table. Please use him more this season than anybody lower on the depth chart, including McLaughlin, including Estime. He is so effective. It's like they mentioned on the broadcast, completely forgot it. This dude's averaging like 5, 6 yards a pop in his career every time the dude touches the ball. And it was like a few years ago in the preseason. I remember like his first touch was like a 18-yard receiving touchdown, like fresh out of college. It's like every time this dude touches the football, he looks almost Darren Sproles esque. I hate to make like big comparisons like that, but like I mentioned, every time he touches the ball, the agility, the explosiveness, despite his size, he absolutely deserves a spot in this roster. And we'll dive later into actually right after this. You can talk about McLaughlin and Estime if you wish, but I think the running back room, what I would prefer, and honestly, I'm going to say now, this is what I think will happen. Recording this just after preseason week 1, I think it's going to be Dobbins starting, then Harvey, then Bidet, and then Blake Watson. Thought Blake Watson looked really good today. I think McLaughlin, after seeing the way he looked today and not seeing enough of him during training camp and joy practices, he is off this team. I'm calling it now. We called it months ago, actually.
I 100% agree. I'm not to say I was disappointed, but um, the I think Audric Estime is very on a cruise control on his way out. It's not that I don't like the guy. I think he's
It's
a great
unfortunate.
solid player. It's really unfortunate, but just like he didn't get snaps until the fourth quarter. Really, he had a couple in the third quarter, but yeah, it's not looking good for him. And I was really unimpressed with what Jaleel McLaughlin did today. I mean, he had that one run that was called back. Due to that hold. But the only reason why the hold on Pat Bryant, I think, happened, I think it was just an unfortunate series of events. The way Julian McLaughlin cut back. Pat Bryant doesn't know what direction Julian McLaughlin's going. He's just blocking. So it causes a holding penalty. So, but other than that, I was really unimpressed. But I did really like what I saw from Bidet, but I really thought Blake Watson was the best running back today. I mean, obviously he's going against lesser competition, but I thought Blake Watson looked extremely explosive and powerful. And obviously, he's got the receiving attributes that we've talked
Yeah.
about before, former wide receiver. So I definitely think he brings that, a little bit more to the table, and especially after this, solid game. And I'm sure he's going to have more solid games in the preseason. I don't think he can sit on a practice squad because there's going to be a
Yeah.
running back needy team that's going to scoop him up. So I definitely would rather have him than the other two guys. And then obviously Bidet played incredible. So I definitely think those four guys, I agree, would be my pickings. Obviously, if Audric Estime, the whole situation with him wasn't going on, like the whole drama and stuff, whether it's true or not, I don't know. But he does have a skill set that we wouldn't have in that room if we didn't, keep him on the roster. But yeah, it's just unfortunate. But those four guys were definitely the best running backs on the roster today.
Yeah, Philip Lindsay was right about him being like fifth on the depth chart. We saw like Blake Watson earlier than we saw Estime, and he did have the most carries of any back today. But I think that was more so because it was like Sean Payne, like, "Hey man, here's your chance. Here's your 9 carries. Make the most of it. And if you don't, I mean, that's kind of it for you. Obviously, there's 2 more games left, but this is going to be a lot of this film is going to be reviewed when they cut down on the roster. 9 carries for 24 yards today, 2.7 yards average. His longest carry went 5 yards. Just really uninspiring right there. His feet look slow to me. His feet look slow to me. Kind of looked like he was playing with anchors on his feet. That might be a little bit harsh, but and there was the one play where he got tackled in the backfield right away, which you can't credit that to him. Um,
I
yeah, I
thought he
mean,
had one good run, the one where he
yeah.
trucked like three guys.
Oh, that was a good ass. That was a
Yeah,
good ass play. Like, let's not
yeah.
let that go under. That was a really good play. Jaleel McLaughlin, I had 3 carries, 5 yards. Obviously, just 3 carries, but once again, uninspiring. There's just not much in this game that I see. Um, Makes me super excited for what he could bring to the table as a depth piece. I see way more potential in Blake Watson, who had 46 yards total today, 25 on the ground, 21 through the air. As a running back, he was second on the team in receiving yards today. So, Blake Watson, he's like our preseason prince of the last 2 years. He makes plays almost every time, similar to Tyler Bidet that he touches the ball. So, yeah, I mean, let us know what you guys think in the comments about the running back room. It's a really interesting discussion. Despite drafting a running back in the second, picking up a really talented pass protecting and versatile back in J.K. Dobbins. After that, the depth gets very interesting and where those guys are going to be. So let us know what you guys are predicting for how that running
I'm
back
really
room.
surprised as to how many people like Jaleel McLaughlin so much because
Same.
like I understand like he's made some big plays in the regular season for us and he's been a solid player, but like you said, I don't find any part of his game really that inspiring. Like he doesn't do one thing better than any of the guys in the room. You know, you could talk about consistency maybe, but I mean even then like yeah. It's not really. So I really don't understand why you'd want Jaleel McLaughlin over a guy like Blake Watson, who has what this year and 2 more years after this on the cheapest contract you can possibly have. So I don't know.
Yeah, I like I said, I'm when you were talking, I was trying to figure out anything like any memorable moments from him that could make people like him more than a Tyler Bidet and Blake Watson. But all I can remember is like whenever I think Javonte went down his rookie year, he stepped in and played a little bit good, especially during that Bears game. But
Mm-hmm.
nothing was like what we saw from Philip Lindsay whenever Royce Freeman got outperformed in 2018. So,
Yeah.
other than that, moving on, Troy Franklin I thought looked really, really solid. Had a few catches. Looked like he was playing a lot more confident and running his routes more confidently. I saw Devon Bailey get open a handful of times as well, but wasn't targeted. Looks like he's going to be probably wide receiver 4 this season. Pat Bryant, I mean, I wrote down in my notes word for word, Pat Bryant's going to be a star. Looks so much more elusive and agile than every receiver on this roster. I mean, the way he moves, it just reminds me, and Broncos country isn't going to like this, but it reminds me so much of like how Jerry Jeudy was coming out of Alabama. Like he just has that movement and agility that we
Yeah.
see from like true wide receiver ones.
And he looked way faster than that 4.6 man. Like
Yeah.
his game speed is like people say game speed is different than 40 speed, right? So I thought he had NFL speed for the wide receiver position, and his routes were very crisp. There was the one that I didn't really like where he didn't get his feet down. I know it's a really tough catch to make, but other than that, I thought he had a very very solid performance. This game as expected for me. You guys all know if you watch the pods, you guys know that I love Pat Bryant, and I've been pounding the table for Pat Bryant buyers early on in his career because I think he's going to be a superstar. And yeah, I thought that. I thought that he was really solid today, and I'm excited to see what else he brings to the table in the coming weeks.
Karene Reed had a really, really cool pick. Obviously, the ball went straight to him, but the way he
Couple of
snagged it,
those.
I mean, that was like almost like a MLB pitch type, not almost like the 100 mile per hour type pitch, but that ball was coming quick at him, and he snagged a rep out of the air. I saw that, I was like, oh shit, that he just snagged that shit. So that was cool to see. Jarrett Stidham fucking balled out. Was like almost perfect. The -1 in completion, 14 to 15, 136 yards, 2 tutties, 3 attempts for 36 yards. There was the one play where he looked like he was gonna almost go out of bounds and just kind of like Michael Vick wiggle his room to get that first down. I mean, talk about Vanilla Vic, man. I mean, he's taken over. He's taken after Bo Nix a little bit. Obviously, we didn't see this from in Las Vegas. You can
Mm-hmm.
clearly tell Bo Nix, even though he's younger than him, is kind of rubbing off on him a little bit in terms of his mobility and scrambling after the play's over. So, Jarrett Stidham, man. He definitely on my stock up today. I am a lot more confident in him, potentially stepping up if Bo Nix does ever get hurt.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree. Going into not to, I think you said all that needed to be said about Jared Stidham there. Talking about his touchdowns, despite the fact that Lucas Kroll was wide open on a touchdown on a defensive breakdown, I thought he was terrible today, as expected from Lucas Kroll. So I really do not want him on the roster. Caden Priestcorn had a touchdown, who I also thought wasn't going to be very good, but I mean, again, schemed open. He looked big, I guess. I don't know. Didn't see much from Caleb Lohner, but that pass that Lucas Kroll dropped wide open in the flat was just abysmal. You cannot do that at the NFL level. I get it wasn't the best pass, but I mean, it hit him in the hands. I had a football coach my coach Brian, he passed away. He said if it hits your hands, you can catch it. So I think that if you're in the NFL level, you got to catch football. Maybe you should have stuck to baseball or something.
Yikes. Dude, speaking of Caleb Lohner, they mentioned him at the end of the game. I don't think he got maybe he got a snap or two that I missed, but I don't think he got like any snaps today.
He was on the field twice. He was on the field on
Okay.
the pre-scoring touchdown, and then I saw him on the field another time as well. But
Yeah.
he didn't get any targets. Yeah, I saw him blocking. I thought he blocked pretty good on the one play I saw him, and then obviously it was just like a little like pre-scoring was playing fullback, and it was a little play action rollout boot.
Yeah. It makes sense that he'd be in the red zone plays, but at the same time, it's like the dude just switched from basketball to football, so I would want to see him in as many live NFL game reps as possible before we decide to have him on the roster.
I think we will.
Yeah, it's not 100% a lock because some seventh rounders do get cut, but yeah, I think he'll make it. Yeah, Jarrett Stidham looked really good. Chris Abrams-Drain had a really good game, had a PBU, had an interception. Unfortunately, that was negated by a penalty from a illegal hands to the face by Yuma Wazarike. But other than that, man, his coverage was flawless. Got some really, really good depth there. The broadcasters are mentioning like how deep our secondary was, especially because of him. Speaking of the secondary, J.L. Skinner with a massive forced fumble in the third quarter on that running back just popped him Kareem Jackson style. Looked incredible on special teams as well. To me, looked like the best special teamer today. Him and Blake Watson were making plays. Tyler Bidet as well. I forgot to mention his special teams. Dude, he is miles better than Jaleel McLaughlin at special teams. For the love of God, if he is not above Jaleel McLaughlin this year on the running back depth chart, I will be absolutely crashing out. I know it's not that deep because it's like third, fourth stringers at that point, but dude, he is such a good special teamer. It's not even funny. So please, Sean Payton, I know you're seeing it. Please make that decision. But yeah, J.L. Skinner balled out today. Really, really happy to see that from him because we don't hear much about him being as a safety low in the depth chart. You usually don't hear about safeties that much during training camp. So it was really cool to see him in game playing that well today. But other than that, that's pretty much all I got on my list today. I mean, stock down, I got Audric Estime. Alex Palczewski played really bad. We were talking about it before the pod. He played more than really bad, to be honest. Had 2 penalties. If you want to dive more into that.
I thought that he got, there was obviously the one where he gave up the sack, but after I watched the sack, I kind of tend to how I kind of look at this, like, especially the preseason when I'm really evaluating to make notes for this kind of thing. Obviously I didn't make notes for it before, but I would evaluate during preseason games. Watching it, if I see a mistake that a player makes or a big play that a player makes the next couple plays, I'll watch that player. It doesn't matter if they're on the offensive line or what. And in my process of seeing Alex Palczewski have like 6 crappy reps in a row, I saw Alex Forsyth looking around for someone to block in the middle of the field like 3 times probably. So I didn't think he played that well either. Palczewski, and he was really solid last year. So it could have just been a bad game, but he got beat a couple times pretty bad. So I definitely like to see him work on that. Obviously it's preseason. I'm not calling for the guy's head or anything like that. I just think, hey, it's something that he's going to have to work on. It was definitely not a good showing. And I'm not even like, on the coaching staff analyzing film. Like, it's just from a fan's perspective who loves the game of football looking at it. It was not a good look. Not the best effort there. Other than that, like we said, Jade Barron, we talked about, I thought he was as advertised as well. Jonah Ellis, I thought looked amazing, as expected again with Jonah Ellis, but I thought he looked really, really good. And then I don't think I got any. Oh, I wanted to talk about Jeremy Crawshaw. I don't know if he was like nervous or what, but he did not look too great punting.
Yeah, he could have definitely did better on those first 2 punts. But I mean,
the first 2
it's
punts.
not like it was like game changing, but at the same time, you do want better field position than that.
Yeah.
So
and the big punt return, I don't think. I think there was a very obvious block in the back on the guy that was on contain on the outside there. I mean, it's preseason. I don't really care. I'm not the guy that complains about the refs. I mean, that sometimes I do when it's justified, but I didn't think it was the best punt coverage. But I mean, when you're blocking the guy on contain in the back, it's kind of hard to, make a tackle on the guy when he hits the outside edge. So I thought that I don't think Darren Rizzi's going to be like getting mad at guys over that. I think it was a missed call, and it could have been a little bit better coverage, I guess. But I mean, hey, like I think in the regular season that gets called because I mean it was like super blatant. I actually have no idea why they didn't call it because I feel like they were calling a lot of stuff. I mean, it's good. I kind of appreciate when refs call it a little bit more. Call penalties a little bit more heavily in preseason because that way it has lesser implications and guys can really work on, like, you know, if a guy's getting a couple false starts or getting a little too handsy, he knows his limits, especially, and you know, the guys that are new into the league. So I honestly don't complain about penalties in preseason, but I don't know how they missed that one.
Yeah, there was the refs weren't that bad today, but there was the touchdown run on the opening drive for the 49ers, and they just missed a wide open hold on Nick Bonito that obviously would have taken them back 10 yards and not taken away the touchdown. So that needs to be taken into account.
Sorry to cut you off again. I thought Frank Crum played not bad. He had a huge pancake block, so I love seeing that from offensive linemen. So shout out to Frank Crum.
And our boy Clay Webb got called for a penalty.
Yep. I hope it wasn't to do with any fluids.
That is basically all. Courtney Jackson, by the way, had a really, really, really good punt return. Although he did have another punt to him that he should not have fair caught. That he saw a wide open lane and he kind of like was frustrated, like patted the ball in frustration.
He did have a fumble as well.
Yeah, did have a fumble. So yeah. Probably he's like in between stock up and stock down. He's definitely got to have a better 2 weeks to make the practice squad.
I would definitely like to see Jerwan Newton.
Where was he
next week? He was on the field. I saw him playing receiver. Yeah. He got targeted in the end zone, but I mean, it wasn't the best throw. I definitely would like to see him implemented on. Obviously, I think he's going to get more opportunity within the next coming weeks, but I'd like to see him because I really do like him. So maybe they'll be transitioning. I saw. Did they have Bidet returning kicks, or was it? Or was it Blake Watson? I can't remember. One of the running backs was returning kicks. I thought that was a little bit odd. It was like in the fourth quarter, but that's pretty much all I got. I mean, there was a big tackle by Jaden Robinson on fourth down, and then Joshua Pickett had that gift wrapped INT. I mean, what was that quarterback? That
was like the worst throw ever.
How to lose your job, like speed running, losing your job challenge. Like, what the heck was he doing?
What were you doing?
You're in a battle for the backup quarterback spot behind Brock Purdy, and like you're doing. I thought the guy before him was a lot more controlled with the ball. I mean, this guy was a little bit more athletic and the third stringer, but man, that's just not a good look for you if you want to make an NFL roster. But that's not our job. That's the 49ers Avenue podcast.
Yeah, I'm curious to see which of those three receivers out of rookie undrafted free agency between Kyrese Rowan, Courtney Jackson, and then Jerwan Newton, who they're going to kind of sign to the practice squad. We got a decent class, honestly, with receivers I think you mentioned this in our last pod. We signed a decent amount of rookie undrafted free agents at receiver this year. So, and they've been
I didn't see any Joaquin Davis at all.
Yeah, Joaquin Davis as well, too. They got some mouths to feed. Yeah, so they're probably going to see like them a lot in the second half this upcoming game. And then the third preseason game, starters probably aren't going to play, and they're just going to go full go with all these guys. So I'll definitely be very tuned in for that. But let us know if we missed anybody else in this episode in terms of our breakdown and everything, stock up, stock down. Let us know if there's anything that you guys agreed, disagreed with. That being said, host Amir Farrell, co-host Evan Petruk. See you guys in the next one. Peace out, everybody. Take care.